The episode opens with Trev awakening alone, covered in sand, and badly injured. After finding his squad's vehicle, he tries to call for support and track his squad's locators, but is unsuccessful on both counts. The only thing he can do is place a bandage over a nasty-looking wound before heading off into the desert to look for help. After traveling by foot for a few hours, Trev becomes severely dehydrated and collapses to the ground, where he experiences a hallucination of his wife walking away before passing out. Sometime later, the soldier awakens to find a man, Kuchi, offering him water. He treats the Good Samaritan as potentially hostile, but still accepts the liquid salvation. Despite a massive language barrier, Kuchi is able to reveal that he saw Trev's missing squad members nearby. It's unclear if he offers to lead him there, but he does dress/treat the soldier's wound and help him recover. After the sun sets, the two men share stories in different languages about loves they've lost. For Kuchi, it was his beloved daughter Oranuz, who he named after Orion. She became sick one winter and died the next spring. For Trev, it was his estranged wife, who enjoyed looking at the stars. Although the men can't understand each other's words, they recognize their shared grief and are grateful to have someone to talk about it with. Over in New York, Anisha drives like a bat out of hell in an effort to get her family clear of the city. Unfortunately, she and everyone else in traffic are forced to stop when the entire city loses power and goes dark. The next day, Anisha takes her family to a crowded gas station. While Ahmed attempts to recharge their Tesla, she takes the children inside to go to the bathroom and grab some food. As a TV plays a report on the unexplainable devastation happening across the globe, she spots her husband getting accosted by a couple of racist douchebags who are trying to steal their car. She also notices a set of keys sitting on a nearby table that belong to a large family. After taking a moment to ponder her awful opportunity, Anisha grabs the keys, walks outside, and instructs Ahmed to let the men have their Tesla. Her husband grabs their luggage out of the car and transfers it to the stolen minivan, which departs the gas station moments before its owners come running after them. As they drive away, Luke and Sarah are clearly jarred by the sight of their mother doing something so blatantly wrong despite it being for their own protection/survival. That evening, Anisha manages to find a hotel room for her family. Unfortunately, it only has one bed. Things start to get weird when a news report they're watching begins glitching out and something in the static appears to start communicating with them. Before anything interesting can happen, Anisha changes the channel to cartoons. Later, as the broken family attempts to sleep, Ahmed implies that his wife might have taken things too far during their escape from the city. She correctly points out that he has no room to talk after attempting to leave with one of their neighbors and abandon them. Ahmed responds by throwing a pity party about how everyone hates him. He also has the gall to imply he shouldn't be faulted for wanting someone, his mistress, to love him. Anisha once again remarks on how she couldn't have been a better wife to him. This time, however, she also takes a pointed/well-deserved shot at his adulterous relationship. This angers Ahmed enough to leave the room, go to the front desk, and attempt to call his mistress. When he can't reach her, he returns to the hotel room and lays on the floor beside the family he doesn't deserve. Remember the giant ravine that the bus carrying Casper and the rest of his classmates fell into? Well, everyone somehow survived the fall. In fact, the only person who sustained any serious injuries was Mr. Edwards, who has a long metal bar impaled through his arm and is understandably in shock. Jamila isn't a nurse, but her mother is, which makes her somehow able to diagnose the severity of Mr. Edwards' injuries and get him stabilized. Casper tries to help but is roughed up by Monty, who blames his seizure for distracting their teacher and causing the accident. Side note, it was actually the objects that fell from the sky, but no one saw that because they were all watching Casper. Casper's friends managed to save him from getting beat up by offering Monty and one of his goons some snacks. Another of Casper's friends volunteers to try and climb out of the ravine to find help, but Monty forbids anyone from leaving. While the kids debate what to do next, Casper takes out his anti-seizure pills and sees that he only has a few of them left. That evening, as the children are building makeshift shelters, Monty unexpectedly comes over and apologizes for his behavior toward Casper. The bully appears to fall back on his old ways when he starts making fun of Casper's wheelchair-bound mother, but the pair end up sharing heart-wrenching stories about how both their fathers left. Monty divulges that his dad ran off with his secretary, an event that still scars him to this day. Casper reveals that his father was the one who crippled his mother before abandoning them both. He also admits that he watched it happen, too scared to do anything but remain frozen in place. Monty appears genuinely sympathetic before cruelly admitting that his behavior was all a ruse, and that his family is still happily intact. He also assures Casper that the deeply personal story he shared would be saved for a rainy day to torment him with. The rainy day comes later that night when Monty's self-proclaimed authority is challenged by the rest of the students. When he demands that they vote on it and comes up one short, the Boy King blackmails Casper into swinging the final tally his way. After everyone else goes to sleep, Casper checks in on Mr. Edwards, who babbles incoherently about metal raining from the sky. He then takes his next to last anti-seizure pill, has a sweet moment with Jamila, and begins drawing her as she falls asleep. He also totally misses a big cue/hint from his crush, but we should probably cut the poor guy some slack considering what he's been through today. Meanwhile, Monty goes outside and stomps out the group's signal fire, determined to retain his status as the Boy King of the ravine. After taking some time to grieve alone, Mitsuki gets a text from her control center friend, Kaito, and musters the will to head back into work. She arrives to find government officials removing data and records so they can investigate what happened to the shuttle. When Mitsuki tries to tell the director that she wants to figure out what happened, and that she's the only one who can do it, he digs in his heels and continues to blame her for the incident. Instead of backing down, she rips off the director's badge and makes a mad dash for the comms room. Kaito follows her, just ahead of the security guards, and gets inside the door, which she locks from the inside and resets the code. As the security team frantically tries to override the locks, she begins digging into the files to see what can be learned about the accident that killed her lover. After decrypting the video files, and poring over some painful images of Hinata alive and smiling before the end came, Mitsuki discovers that her lover's death was the result of something sudden and catastrophic, not the missed Mayday signals the director keeps trying to blame her for. Moments before the security team finally breaks back into the comm room, she manages to extract an audio file of Hinata saying a single word, a word Luke also heard inside his head during the second episode. Weijo.